3 students attempted to factor the expression negative 3x to the 4 plus 9x squared plus 12. All 3 made one error. Identify errors and then factor the expression properly. First, let's consider John's solution. John's first step was to factor out the negative 3 from the expression. Upon doing that, we're left with x to the 4 minus 3x squared minus 4. If we were to expand this back out, we do in fact end up with the original expression. This first step then is correct. John's second step, he has factored the x to the 4 minus 3x squared minus 4 to x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 4. This actually is correct. However, the x squared minus 4 can be further factored since it is a difference of squares. Recall that a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. John's mistake, therefore, was in this final answer. For Avinash, his first step, he did exactly the same thing as John, factoring out the negative 3. That is correct. His second step was also exactly the same. In this case, he factored the x to the 4 minus 3x squared minus 4. That is also correct. However, Avinash has a third step. In his third step, he factors the x squared plus 1 to x plus 1 and x minus 1. The x squared plus 1 cannot be factored. It's only possible to factor a difference of squares, not a sum of squares. Therefore, this last step is Avinash's error. For Megan, her first step, she factored the negative 3 out. However, if you take a close look, the negative 3 was not factored out of the 9x squared. If it was, we should have a negative 3x squared instead of a positive 3x squared. So her mistake was made in her first step. After that, she looked for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add to positive 3. These numbers are 4 and negative 1. As such, her second step was done correctly based on the mistake made in her first step. The final step, she took the x squared minus 1 and factored that using a difference of squares, x plus 1 times x minus 1. Though she had already made a mistake in the first step, this step is correct. To do this question correctly, first, as was done by John and Avinash, factor out the negative 3, giving x to the 4 minus 3x squared minus 4. We then have to look for 2 numbers that multiply to give negative 4 and add to give negative 3. These numbers are positive 1 and negative 4. We then write this as negative 3 times x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 4. The x squared minus 4 can then be further factored since it's a difference of squares. We can write the x squared minus 4 as x plus 2 times x minus 2.